To the world of aviation, and here we have Louis Blériot, the first person to fly from France to England, waving to the pilot of the latest in military aviation, the Typhoon Eurofighter. Our first story sees us at a special exhibition to mark the 100th anniversary of powered flight at Britain's Royal Air Force Museum. There are planes on show from Germany, France, the United States and Japan that demonstrate some of the key technological breakthroughs during the first century of aviation. Being the Royal Air Force Museum, it is natural that the bulk of the exhibited planes here are warplanes, but they also show how military technology often has spin-offs for civil aviation. On the 17th of December 1903, the Wright brothers flew the first powered and controlled aeroplane in the American state of North Carolina. Marking this important event was the opening of this exhibit in 2003, 100 years on. This vast hall, which used to be an aircraft factory during the First World War, has had the original timber roof and other features carefully restored, and the building houses many more of these rare models.
Our next story takes us to an exhibition of photographs from the UNICEF Photo of the Year competition. Pulitzer Prize winner Don Bartlett won the UNICEF Photo of the Year award for his report on a Honduran boy trying to make his way to the United States. The award-winning photograph shows the remarkable journey of 16-year-old Enrique from Honduras. Enrique travelled an incredible 19,000 kilometers in search of his mother, working in the United States. 64 photographers from 22 countries participated in the competition. Don Bartlett was curious about the migration patterns out of Latin America to the United States. He feels he can explain it perfectly with a camera. It's an important record of his country's history. Felicia Webb from England came second with her photograph of obese American children. Third place went to Brent Sturton, also from England, who portrayed a 12-year-old girl from Sierra Leone. UNICEF Germany patron Christina Rau, wife of the German President Johannes Rau, handed the award to Bartlett at a ceremony in Berlin. The competition was sponsored by an American bank and a German photo magazine. The winner won a reporting assignment and a camera.
The first fuel cell buses have been launched in London and are being trialled across the city. They are powered by a new hydrogen-based fuel system which only emits water, reducing pollution levels. The buses are being trialled as part of an initiative to move public transport away from the more conventional petrol-based engines. The new fuel cell bus is run from what looks like two boxes on the roof. These are the engines. 3 of them are now being trialled in the UK for the next 2 years. The bus has been designed by Mercedes-Benz and has taken 2.5 years to develop. Because the fuel cell bus runs without gears, it is also a much smoother ride, and with its low carbon monoxide emissions, is ideal for cities where pollution levels are high. It's felt this is the future of public transport. At present, each bus costs around £11 million to make, but with major orders from countries around the world, the fuel cell bus would be a much cheaper and a much more environmentally friendly option for public transport.
And finally, the world's oldest man has celebrated his 114th birthday in his hometown in Menorca, Spain. The Spaniard is recognized by the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest living man whose date of birth can be fully authenticated. Mr. Rio Davids was born on the 15th of December 1889, in the same year as Charlie Chaplin, and not long after the Eiffel Tower was completed. His father was a cobbler. He exported shoes to the then Spanish colony of Cuba. Mr. Rio Davids followed in the family business until his retirement in 1954. Mr. Rio Davids says he is happy to be alive one more day, even one more year, as long as he's healthy.
And now to the world of fashion, where a top Korean fashion designer unveils a collection of creations dedicated to the Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo is a cult figure in pop culture and feminism, who is well known for her paintings and real-life experience of pain and suffering. She is remembered as someone who had a dynamic and revolutionary spirit. One of South Korea's top fashion designers, Park Dong-jun, showcased her latest collection at a fashion show which was designed with Frida Kahlo's shadow and spirit in mind. She studied Frida Kahlo's artworks for 3 years to come up with her designs. Frida Kahlo's paintings were digitally enlarged and printed onto the material without cutting out any part. Park said she wanted to describe the romantic and voluminous aspects of the work. Park also included pieces made of enlarged copies of Frida's love letters. Launching the show, Park showed images from Kahlo's paintings and photographs. Park was inspired by the energetic and vibrant motifs from Frida Kahlo, who she says strongly expressed inner self and delivered her feelings about life through her artwork. Park wanted to express Frida Kahlo's revolutionary spirit with red and greens. Frida Kahlo, she feels, is her teacher for life and for her art. Her collection was warmly welcomed by onlookers with its strong, creative signature.
The Cabaret Mechanical Festival highlights some of the best of automa and moving sculptures from around the world. These fascinating displays can be looked at and moved by visitors. It's an interactive extravaganza. The display covers all aspects of life and have a quirky and appealing style. Here, cats and dogs are seen singing opera and playing together, a classic example of their intriguing and delightful character, and a belly dancer moves her hips and body in classic belly dancer fashion. These pieces are very popular around the world and can sell for up to £5,000. One of the leading UK artists sees them as an antidote to computers. He believes it gives people the satisfaction of simply turning a handle and seeing how something moves and the mechanics to make it move. The older part of the collection is being restored, and they are hoping to tour in the UK and the United States, whilst developing new talent in automa art and moving sculpture. It's an exhibition that's sure to appeal to young and old.
Continuing with the slightly odd and quirky stories, we have one here about the Japanese company Sony and their dancing and running robots. Sony's dancing robots have put on another amazing performance in Tokyo, Japan. Called Curio, the human robots showed off not only their funky dance moves, but they also became the first bipedal robots to run, and that, Sony says, is a world first. Unlike walking, running on 2 feet means that both feet at one point lose contact with the ground. And while this is easy for us, for the robot, that seemingly simple process has taken ages to master. We must remember what a surprise it was when the first robot walked. Now that movement has taken an even larger step forward with the robot that can run. The robots have not stopped there, however, also mastering the ability to pitch a ball with near perfect accuracy and a decent amount of speed. Who knows what we'll be seeing next? Tennis, anybody?
Everyone loves the magic of the movies, and film memorabilia continues to be big business. Christie's auction house expected record prices for movie items ranging from a James Bond clapperboard, a Star Wars helmet, to Superman's original costume. James Bond, created by author Ian Fleming, became an icon of style in the 1960s. Also included from 1978 was the original Superman costume, as worn by Christopher Reeve in his heroic world-saving role, boots, cape and all. The Star Wars trilogy began a year earlier. The British costume designer was John Mollo, whose historical knowledge led to the stormtrooper's helmet and gun, a distinctive feature of the movie and instantly recognizable. Like any film auction, there was the guaranteed feature of one of the symbols of the 1950s and 60s, Marilyn Monroe. Another landmark is remembered in the Disney collection, the sketch that led to one of the most recognizable characters in film history, Mickey Mouse. This was another great opportunity to acquire a piece of film history.
And who doesn't appreciate those little or not so little luxuries in life? From a magazine called Rob Report, you can certainly indulge. How about a $1.7 million submersible, or a $15 million diamond necklace, or part ownership of a private jet? These are just some of the few items available for the man or woman who has everything. These extravagant gifts are among the exclusive items on the 20th Annual Ultimate Gift Guide, catering to those with plenty of spare cash to splurge. For that ultimate experience, why not invest in the Porsche Carrera GT, a 612 horsepower supercar? One of the most unusual items is an undersea submersible called the Deep Flight Aviator, valued at $1.7 million. Or for the millionaire with a sweet tooth, Belgian chocolatier Neuhaus offers the Bon Bon Voyage chocolate experience. Chocolate treats that most of us will never taste. Some unique items include a $40 million estate located in California. The home provides a 360-degree view of the Pacific Ocean, with a bowling alley, access to 7 bedrooms, 7 full baths and saltwater aquarium. This is not to be missed. And for the music aficionados, there's an extremely rare 18th century Duke of Alba Stradivari violin, valued at over $3 million. For those of you who are less affluent, there are also gifts under the $1 million mark, including a one-of-a-kind 44-carat yellow diamond ring valued at only $800,000. Best start saving.
For gardeners, the snail is a dreaded pest, but for the researchers at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they're an inspiration which could lead to new forms of locomotion in future machines. The humble snail now has a robotic counterpart, Robo Snail. It may move at, well, the snail's pace, and it's not much to look at, but the Robo Snail is set to revolutionize the oil industry. After many weeks of watching how snails move, scientists mimic their movement in research which challenges traditional forms of machinery movement. Robo Snail has one rubber foot which glides over a thin film of mucus or silicon oil. The oil industry is particularly interested in Robo Snail for use in oil drilling. Snails are appealing because they do not have exposed joints, so a machine based on them with a rubber resistant to corrosion would be very useful in chemically harsh environments. At the moment, oil drills can only bore downward and not sideways. A machine based on Robo Snail technology could change all that and allow drilling to be much more effective. The snails are mechanically simple and extremely stable, which means they are easy to build. It is always amazing where science gets its ideas from. Who would have suspected the ordinary garden snail could be the next leader in scientific exploration?
After a 3,000-mile journey across Canada, the United States and half of Mexico, millions of monarch butterflies have begun to arrive in Mexico as the government cracks down on illegal loggers. This annual ritual involves the massive migration of millions of monarch butterflies heading for the balmy refuge in the mountains of central Mexico. Hundreds of millions of the orange and black-winged creatures make this journey every year. Unfortunately, destruction of the butterflies' habitat has caused international alarm at their potential plight and galvanized Mexican President Vicente Fox to institute measures to protect these incredibly beautiful creatures' habitat by clamping down on illegal logging in the area. The government has also provided economic incentives to local landowners to discourage the felling of trees and to combat the regional poverty. With these measures, it is hoped to ensure the region's economic welfare and the continued migration of this amazing species. While there is still some dissent among the villagers about these measures, many believe that the protective measures will ensure a future for their children. In spite of scientific studies, the spectacular migration remains a mystery. This fascinating spectacle draws tourists to the reserves in an opportunity to view the magnificent creatures in a safe environment.
If your idea of a perfect holiday destination is one where you can plant yourself on a small bit of white beached paradise, then spend the nights in party mode, then Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast, Queensland is the place for you. Queensland, with its tropical, crystal clear waters and long stretches of clean beaches, is a popular destination for tourists from within Australia itself and from around the world. It's simply breathtaking. The Queensland seasons are more a case of hotter and wetter, or cooler and drier than summer and winter. It really doesn't get cool except at night. Just over half the state lies in the tropical zone. The coast with the most, a 70-kilometre, 43.8-mile stretch of coastline running from the New South Wales-Queensland border in Australia, offers a huge array of beaches. Head to the hinterland or World Heritage listed rainforests. There's theme parks, wilderness parks, wineries and a choice of 40 championship golf courses. Buzzing evening entertainment means the action is non-stop. Surfers Paradise, with a population of just over 11,000 people, is the heart of the Gold Coast and owes much of its popularity to the shopping and nightlife and its proximity to attractions like the Gold Coast tourist theme parks. But you do not have to go very far north or south to find a relatively open stretch of white sand. Surfers Paradise is the busiest stretch of the coast and is a great spot for families with its perfect swimming beach. Free beach volleyball competitions offer fun for all ages, while the nearby cafes and shopping areas make it easy to take a break with an ice cream or a cool drink. The huge Paradise Centre houses enough games and rides to keep everyone entertained, and every Friday night a craft market is set up along the beach esplanade. As recent as the 1950s, the Gold Coast region was covered in dense eucalypt and vine forest. These days, more than 2 million visitors a year go to the Gold Coast. Theme parks, water sports, dining, nightlife and entertainment can all be found on the coast. A holiday in surfers paradise, Queensland will be a holiday you remember for many years to come.
Military-style boot camps are the latest fitness craze in Australia, with one health club conducting drills early in the morning on Bondi Beach. The exercise programs carried out on beaches around the country are marketed as an outdoor alternative to working out in a gym. They promise fat reduction and improved fitness in a short space of time. Those signing up for the courses are put through their paces by military-trained instructors, whom they are required to address by the correct rank. Recruits are punished either individually or with their whole team for misdemeanours, such as turning up in a dirty kit, arriving late, or talking whilst being given orders. Punishment is usually 50 push-ups. The week-long program is similar to the US Army's basic training program for new recruits. Most of the recruits tend to be professionals working in the metropolitan area who are looking for an alternative to working out in the gym. The company running the boot camps have either armed forces experience or have completed military personnel training with the Australian Army. Those who support the camps point to the health benefits. Figures out early in 2003 from the Australian Medical Association found that more than 50% of Australians are either overweight or obese. That's all we have time for today. Don't forget to join us next time on Living.